Track one. Hey everybody, Joe Rock and Roll here. Checking out a new system. Okay, that's not. How do you mute this freaking sound? It's gonna come through. Where's it coming through? D Live. D Live is the fastest. Oh, D Live is good. D Live is good, man. They're fast. Oh, okay, I muted that. Wow. YouTube is pretty fast also. Oh, what about Twitch? Twitch says I'm offline. All right, so I know YouTube's working.
Daddy?
Yes?
You want to play with Casper and
Yes.
Kevin and with me as Kevin?
Blackjack?
No, it's a game.
Okay, I'll be right there. Just checking this out. So D Live's working, YouTube's working.
Something like that. Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you, sweetie pie. Okay, but for some reason, Twitch. Enter destination. Twitch is. It says I'm online. Holy Joe Rock. Holy Joe Rock. But isn't? Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong channel. Hang on. Okay, I am live on Twitch. Okay, Twitch seems to be, I don't know, fastest in terms of audio. But all the other ones came up pretty quick. Okay, I was on the wrong channel. Holy Joe Rock on Twitch. Somebody took HJRR. All right, people, listen, I just want to check in. It's been a long time since I've been online because I'm working my ass off, trying to get a lot of stuff done. And I've accomplished a lot. Yeah, boy. So I can't really get into details. Needless to say, it's been a great year. And I've let my COVID beard grow out. I trimmed the sides just recently. This is over a year. This part here, right? I didn't touch this. So working on the ZZ Top look. Young Santa. Got a badass curl here when I want to. I recommend everybody grow a beard. Because why not? So wow, this is actually pretty good. This is Restream, as you can see from the unpaid plan. I've used it in the past, and I'm obviously using it now, and it seems to be pretty okay. Turn off. Okay, it's muted. I believe it's muted. Is it muted? Yeah. Check one. Okay. So this is actually pretty awesome. No need to install software. No need to buy anything. But of course, you're going to have to pay some kind of monthly subscription. I haven't upgraded, so I don't know what it's going to cost. But pretty cool. I'm live right now. So, $16 a month for the standard plan. That's not bad. 41 for professional. 83 for premium for Restream. So I mean, look, I'm not endorsing Restream. Like I said, I have used it in the past. Wow. So the standard plan, no Restream branding, your overlays, logos, and backgrounds in studio. So I guess that's green screen. Up to 10 on-screen guests, not bad. Save recording 6 hours per stream. A one custom RTMP destination or extra channel, and you can stream on guest channels. Huh, interesting. Professional full HD or 1080p in studio. I don't need that. Split audio track recording, don't care about that. The cool thing about the custom RTMP is that if you have your own video server and you want to send out the video, you have that option. Now, I thought I had that in the free plan as well. Forget how I had that set up. But what about Oh, there's even a business plan for $250 a month. Wow. But it's billed billed yearly. $16 a month is the cheapest one. $190 a year. So, and you can multi-stream on. Yeah, man, it's Young Santa, baby. I see. Lubowski's in the house. Yeah, man. And the cool thing is, all the chat's right here. So from all three of these different channels, the chat's there. So that's not bad. Stream on guest channels and multi-stream on 30 plus platforms. One channel per platform. Not bad. 30 platforms. So, cool. So this is looking pretty. Oh, okay. So I guess that's if you wanted to do it annually, you would save some money. If you want to go just monthly, it's $19 a month for the standard plan. It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad for what you're getting. I mean, it appears to be not bad, but I don't know if it's necessary. What is this? This is favorite. Pin message. What can I do here? Oh, cool. I can block people. I'm not going to block you. Show what? Show. Oh, hey. Oh, how cool is that? How cool is that? I can show comments coming in. That is cool. Hide it. Show it. Oh, that's cool. So if like questions came in, you can click on it, show it. So I appreciate that, Lebowski, for participating in this stream. Chat overlay. Let's check that out. Oh, okay. I guess that would. What is that doing exactly? I guess that's maybe. Let me see if I hide that, and then there you go. Yeah, thanks. Chat. Aha. So there's the chat overlay on the right side. So when new chats come in, they'll stream down the site automatically. That is really cool, man. There's a lot of functionality in this. Restream.io. So again, not sponsored by Restream, but I'm just trying out the technology on a new Mac. I got the iMac. I really recommend the M1 iMac. I know there may be some new hardware coming out, but listen, for $12.99, if you can get it in the US, $12.99 for the cheapest iMac with 7 CPU cores or whatever it is, 7 GPU cores. I mean, if you're developing for the iOS platforms, I mean, it's a no-brainer. This thing is a speed demon, even for the cheapest one. Whatever. Not being sponsored by Apple, but I'm just saying, all my Hackintosh work is kind of a waste now at this point, because now with this ARM processor, I mean, yeah, okay, you can build a Hackintosh that has better performance, but it's not going to be cheaper than $12.99. Not with today's, especially for GPUs, right? With the what do you call it? The labor, not the labor shortage, but there's a labor shortage which is influencing this supply chain. Problem with the supply chains, right? Which is causing everything to be so expensive. You know, that used to be relatively cheap, especially even crap from China. It's oh, okay. You can do it on Twitter also. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Gecko? Oh, I'm sorry. Geekon Productions. Nice. Yeah. Where are you coming? You guys are all coming in from YouTube, so it's really cool. So I can see where you're coming in from. I guess nobody's watching me from the other channels, but that's okay. Browse. What is this? Oh, I'm on Twitch. Oh, so I can see. Oh, I see what's happening. I have a separate window here of what it looks like on Twitch. I closed down the YouTube and the DLive once I saw that it was working and audio was working. So yeah, YouTube. Yeah, I mean, look, it's I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. Got a couple ideas for burning the channel, but it's not that important to me. I've just really been focused on my family and working and just getting paid. And look, I don't know what you guys have been doing during the COVID times. If you've been having trouble, I mean, there's been plenty of work. There's been plenty of work. That's all I want to say. if you're looking for work, there has been plenty of work. So I mean, if you're looking for work, don't give up. There's plenty of work out there. Just go for it. And I mean, if you're a contractor, there's multiple jobs available, and you potentially, if you're 100% remote type person, you can get multiple jobs and be 100% remote on both of them, or three of them, or four of them. I've heard of people with 100% remote jobs, and they're working them simultaneously in the same time zone, working for 4 different clients. Just keep it on the DL. Just don't tell people. One person told me that she has a friend who actually has 3 jobs. He has 3 jobs. He has 3 jobs. So she didn't give me the details, but he has 3 jobs. He's kind of like in a sort of a team lead type of manager. He's not, I don't think, it didn't sound like he was like, he's working for maybe technical companies or technology related companies. But he has 3 100% remote jobs. I wish that was me. I mean, probably if I didn't have a family, I could probably do it, but probably 3 jobs would be too much, especially if they're all in the same time zone. But if you're like managing teams, if you're like that, where you're managing teams, it may be possible, as long as you organize your meetings in different times, to handle that, right? You assign the team A something, and then assign team B something, assign team C something, and just keep track of it if you're project manager type, right? It's definitely doable. So anyway, whatever. It just seems like there's tons of work out there. I mean, anecdotally, I get messages from on the various business social media platforms almost every day, trying to recruit me, and most of the time, whatever. Most of the time it's probably a bot that sends it out to everybody that matches some sort of criteria. So I usually ignore them, but there's been a couple that came in that were, I mean, really sounded good. So I said, yeah, go ahead. And they actually didn't work out for whatever reason. They didn't work out, but yeah, I'm still in Poland. Krakow area, and it's going good. I don't know how the lockdowns have been in your area. Here, I mean, we had lockdowns, obviously. So, but if you're 100% remote, you don't really give a rat's ass. You just go out, buy food whenever you need to. No commuting, no worrying about fighting for parking, no, buying food at the office for, 3 times the normal price, which is the convenience factor, or whatever. Being able to sleep until you got to get, until your first meeting. If you're 100% remote, just getting the work done. Just get the work done, and it almost doesn't matter. And I think a lot of companies, they're intent on remaining at least partially 100% remote, because they can see that the productivity has gone up. People are happier. They're less stressed, and companies can save money. If the offices let's say you got a 5-year lease on a building, and nobody's in there, so you could literally, turn down the utilities, turn off the lights. I mean, that may save you, I don't know, whatever, 10, 20%. You're still stuck with the mortgage or with the lease, right? Those fixed costs are going to be there. But if you could reduce your variable costs, 100, like say 50%, right? Let's say you reduce your electrical bill by 50%. These companies are happy, right? And then obviously so I know some companies had expansion plans. They're talking about renting an office for 300 employees when I started there was like maybe 20. And I think that's been put on hold because it makes no sense, and nobody wants to go to the office. Another one of my clients, they require you to wear a mask, and just funny story, man. Let's pull this guy, really cool dude. I'm pretty sure he's not going to watch this, but I heard it secondhand, but he had to go in for whatever reason, for meetings or whatnot. Good evening, Dobry wieczór. And the funny thing is, I guess he was forced to wear a mask. He refused. Then he put it on, and then after maybe, like, let's say, I don't know, an hour or so, I don't know what the time was. He eventually just said, "F this stuff." Took off the mask. This is BS, and they kicked him out of the building. And he did not get fired, but because he's a good worker. I mean, so that's another thing. If you're competent in your field, you're a good worker. I mean, what are they going to do? Why would they? I mean, it's kind of hard for them to fire you, realizing that it's difficult for them to get qualified people, talented people to do the job. So there's another anecdotal story. The guy, he he works on furnaces, so like oil burners, like mostly in the northeastern part of America, New York, East Coast, where people still use oil burners, right? And but he does corporate stuff, so he's working on big oil burners for big companies, right? So he'll show up when they have something's leak, whatever the problem is. He'll show up and some of them have said, "Where's your mask?" And he's like, "I don't wear a mask. I could leave if you want." And they say, "No, no, 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 no," and they totally forget about forcing them to wear a mask. So it just kind of shows you that it's at least that is very arbitrary. I've not been wearing a mask. I've only had 2 occasions here in Poland where I was refused service. One was at OBI, which is kind of like a Home Depot place. Again, it's always old ladies, it's always Karens. I only had 2 items, and I went to the cash register to pay, and she asked me where my mask is, and I just said, "Right here, man. Here's my mask," right? And I tried to cover my lips with my mustache. She wasn't having it, so I said, "Okay, I'm David Senya," and I just dropped the stuff on the counter, walked out. Turns out I didn't need that stuff when I got home because one of them was like some electrical cabling that I thought I needed. As soon as I got home, I checked my garage and I was like, "Oh, I thought I had some cabling here left over," and found it. So I didn't even need it anyway. So whatever. That happened. That was the second thing that happened. The first thing that happened earlier was actually when I was at Auchan, which is a French-owned, like a Walmart. I wouldn't call it like a Costco. Costco's here is more like Macro, or was it the penny cent, whatever. Selgros, and Macro are kind of like Costco in this country. But yeah, I was at Auchan, and dude, this was like early. This was like over a year ago. I had a scarf, so I had a scarf on, and I was covering my mouth with a scarf. She was behind a plexiglass wall. She had on a mask and she had on a visor, and she was an old lady, like a Karen. I don't know. When I say old lady, I'm saying like obviously gray-haired, in her 60s, probably in her 60s or late 50s, whatever. And I tried to tell her in Polish, "Don't be scared, nie boję się." And she got up, ran around the corner, came to where my shopping cart was, and she said refused to, like she wasn't going to serve us. We had all of our stuff on the counter. I probably had about 200, almost 200 zlotys worth of food to buy, so like 50, $60 worth of food, and I wound up having to leave. I mean, I just said, "Okay, you're not going to ring me up, David Senya. I'm not putting on a mask." Anyway, it's just irritating. So so just 2 times, man. The other day I was in a Biedronka, which is a local shopping place, and I've seen the security guard, for the last whatever 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know how long he's been working there, and then for some reason I don't know what he was doing. He was doing some kind of, I don't know if he was doing inventory or he was unloading some kind of pallet. I don't know why the security guard was doing that. Maybe he's helping out. Anyway, I've never worn a mask. He hasn't said anything to me until that day. And he said something about, whatever in Polish. It was like either, "Where's your mask?" But it wasn't "Gdzie maska." It was like, "Put on your mask." Włącz, maybe it was like "Włącz maska." And I just said, "Oh, no, no, no thanks, no thanks." And I just walked to the cash register, checked out, and left. And I'm starting to see more and more people. It's mostly men, but I'm also seeing some women that are refusing to wear masks for whatever reason. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I would just say I'm exempt. I'm not able to wear a mask. I'm sorry. I'm exempt. Usually when I go out, I'll have the mustache waxed and curled, right? So, hey, what's up? What's up there? You're in Dalang R. What's happening? Yeah. So I mean, I'll just say I'm exempt. And look, yeah. So that happened. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, I'm just got this new system and thought I'd try it out on my new system. Right? They were kept sending me emails talking about how great they are. I've used it before. Yeah, exactly. It's gotten to the point where I think most people are fed up with it. It's just, look. Okay, let me finish this thought. Yeah. So it's not been really an issue for me in terms of shopping, doing regular work. just not wearing a mask. Everybody else is behind walls, behind glass. They got masks on. So, if you're scared, you're covered. You're covered. Don't worry about me. I got nothing. But I don't know if the beard is actually like right now. I probably look like I could pretend to be homeless. I guess I could definitely pretend to be homeless, a little bit disheveled, put on some whatever. Or if I slick it back and try to look like Mel Gibson, right? Look like Mel Gibson. I could do that also, so looking a little bit more sophisticated. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. But anyways, I've had no issues. But yeah, these policies, I think people are getting fed up with it. Oh, what I was going to say is obviously we had the original problem, right? I'm trying to avoid the V word, but we had the original V, and we didn't know much about it, right? It was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and we all said, okay, let's do this and pitch in, let's do this, right? But then is it like it's over? It's like 2 years now. Is it 2 years now? Oh, we're coming up on 2 years. Coming up on 2 years, and as the V mutates, I mean the Delta was. They said it was highly contagious, but it was less deadly. It mutated, and now this Omicron and Fitch variety, supposedly coming from South Africa, again highly contagious, but it causes tiredness, makes you tired. I mean that's a common flu. It's a flu, all right. So look, does this help? I mean, I think this helps us realize that as any organism, quote unquote, evolves or mutates. Hey, what's up, homie? What's up, Viper? Welcome. But as every as any organism mutates, it becomes less virulent, right? I mean, this is from epidemiology 101, right, folks? I mean, so think about that. I mean, think about that in terms of evolution. We evolved from monkeys because of random mutations, but think about what's happening to this virus as it quote unquote randomly mutates. It becomes less and less dangerous. Maybe perhaps. I mean, look, maybe perhaps it spreads. It's more contagious. Maybe. I mean, that's just a big question mark. It's probably just as contagious or not as contagious as before. But it's less virulent. It's less potent, right? It's less potent. So think about that. So if we were monkeys and somehow the monkey got randomly mutated, how would it ever become a human? It would become less. It would become less than a monkey. It can never get better. I mean, it's the same thing with look. I hate to go into evolutionary thing, but it's the same thing with computer code. Think about it. You got a working system, and you randomly mutate some of the computer code. I mean, are you somehow gonna evolve from Windows to Mac OS? I mean, that would never happen. That would never happen in a billion years. So, I mean, whatever. Anyways, it's just one of those things. It just common sense just says that there's no way that we evolved. Now, is there some kind of adaptation possibly going on where if you can adapt? Como monkey. Oh, yo, let me put this up. Let me do this. Okay, well, hang on. Let me do this. Caption. What? I mean, let me fix this up. So, chat. Hang on. Let me turn off the chat overlay, so then I can emphasize. So I can emphasize. So I can emphasize different comments. So yeah, Como Monkey. Yeah, he evolved, right? With the big Q-tip. Here's another one. Oh man, this is pretty cool, man. I like it. I can emphasize certain comments. Yeah. Oh wow, it's pretty cool. So that's what's going on, people. That's about it, man. That's about it. Everything else is pretty good. I mean, pretty rock solid. Went out a few times last month. My buddy was here from Texas. Had some fun. I really don't like going out when it's cold. It's freaking cold. The weather's getting cold. It's really cold. I mean, not really cold. It's whatever, 0 degrees or so, -2, that kind of stuff. But it is cold. But typically don't like going out when it's cold. I mean, I prefer when it's summer, whatever, summerish. But so I haven't really been out that much. Doing karaoke and stuff like that. But I was thinking about going out tonight because Sunday night is actually pretty lit, I should say, pretty happening at this one particular place. And my wife had sent me a notification about some kind of competition. There's a competition, karaoke competition somewhere. I don't even know. I'm not planning to go there. I think I know the place. I think I know the place. Or maybe I'll check. Maybe I'll walk by and see if it's where I think it is. But not knowing what the rules are. Hey, what's this? Rite. Is that in a foreign language? Okay, can somebody translate this for me? Et sitten de en depends de et. I don't know if that's just gobbledygook or if that's possibly Spanish. I mean, anyway, that's something to ponder. If anybody can translate that. Hey, Superman. Superman's here. Hey, good to be back. Yeah. Again, I just want to try it out. Oh, what's really messed up with this thing? I guess I was using Safari to fire this up. I need to probably use Firefox because for some reason this program supposedly supports the green screen, right? But for some reason it said green screen requires GPUs, so Restream is not optimized for the new Mac hardware. So buongiorno. Hey, what's happening? Tan guy. What's up, man? Cool name. Yeah, so I gotta see if maybe Google to see if there's any issues with the new M1 Max and Restream. But I mean, what's really cool about this, again, it's just software in the cloud. I mean, it's just a website you go to, log in, you have your account, nothing to install, nothing to buy. Pretty powerful. So Viper, you might think about this instead of spending a lot of money on certain things. Maybe you need microphones, whatnot. But this might be an option for you. Okay, Google Translation, and this depending on ENS. I don't know what that is. ENS, dependence. Doesn't matter. What language was that, Viper? Is that Spanish or Portuguese? Marcel. So, but this is, I mean, pretty good. So yeah, I gotta see if I can get the green screen to work. In the past, I used a different program to do the green screen stuff, and then from that program, I could plug into Restream, and then Restream would do everything behind the scenes. And I don't know. This seems to be. I mean, maybe now that I have better hardware. I mean, whatever. If you quote unquote better hardware, because this new M1 is very powerful. I'm not seeing error messages because I would see error messages that the frame rate, or the key frame rate was. I'm in Krakow, Bartek, in the Krakow area. The frame rate would say that the key frame rate was off, even though I did everything I could to fix it. Never had any issues with, or should I say, I think even YouTube was complaining, but the video still was distributed no problem. I think the only problem I had, and then same thing with DLive, they would complain saying that the keyframe rate was off. But yo, what's up, Maga? I mean, Magda. I mean, I know that's not your real name, but you know what I'm saying. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm back, man. I mean, I'm not that I went anywhere. All right, man. KK. What's up, K? Oh, KK, just KK. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I should not have trimmed the sides. Do you guys remember that guy, Dr. Weir? I think EIR. He was like this guru for like new age medicine. And it seemed so I was able to comb it out, and I'd have this big ass like dinosaur looking beard, right? And that's how he would do his beard, right? He had it flared out. And but I trimmed it because when I I don't know, maybe, I want to say maybe 6 months ago, or whenever I got my last haircut. The barber, it was a woman, she actually just trimmed the sides. She went straight down. And I said, hey, don't touch my beard. And she said, I'm not. So, but when she did this, she went straight down, she cleaned it up, and it looked sharp because this wasn't as big. But what she did was just coming straight down. She trimmed it up. So I try to do it myself because, when it's big like that, it makes your face, I don't know, it kind of makes your face look huge if you comb it out. But even if you push it, if you try to comb it down, it would still stick out, right? But anyway, that guy Weir, I think he passed away. But I was thinking about doing a spoof on him. This is Dr. Weir back from the dead, and whatever. He was pushing all kinds of new age medicine and natural healing remedies, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm glad. I guess I'm glad I did it. But and I actually had the young Santa look because it was a bigger, real like a Santa Claus beard, like the full beard. Anyway, whatever. Just talking trash. What up? Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, what was that from? What up, Bobby O? Are you quite well, sir? You guys saw Central Intelligence with The Rock and what's that black comedian? The little black comedian. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious movie. I mean, it's on the torrents. Central Intelligence, starring The Rock and what's that little short dude, man? You know what I'm talking about? Can somebody help me out? That short comedian, black guy. Not Dave Chappelle. He's tall. This guy's short. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But yeah, it was one of the things that he said in the movie. When the CIA was trying to get him to rat on his friend. Are you quite well, sir? It's totally out of character. It was totally weird, but it was funny as hell. Kevin Hart. Yeah, that's it. Kevin Hart. Thank you, Viper. 2 points for Viper for bringing that up. Yeah, it was Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart and The Rock in the movie. Central Intelligence, available on the torrents, high quality copy. I had a low quality previously, and when I wanted to watch it again. I said, let me check if there's a better quality, and there was. It's a premium quality, whatever, like 720p, but it's good enough. It's good enough for watching and enjoying yourself with it. I'll probably do an update on the torrents. Obviously this has been a time when if you're home, and even though we do have access to Netflix, I don't really watch anything on Netflix that often. I think I'm trying to think what I watched on Netflix. Nothing. Nothing that I can remember. But whatever. A friend of a friend gave us one of the accounts because, like, when you get Netflix, you get like 5 accounts or 5 people can access it in your family. So we got access to one of those accounts. I'm not using it. One of my kids is using it. Woman's using it occasionally, but yeah, nothing really on there. There was it called Red Letter? It turns out it is a Netflix production, but it was on the torrents, and that's where I grabbed it from there. I think it's Red Report or Red Letter. Also, The Rock is in it. It's about museum thieves. They're trying to collect these ancient Egyptian, eggs, these Romanov eggs or something like that. Whatever. It's kind of like a comedy, action comedy. Not as good as Central Intelligence, but it's decent. It's like, twists and turns and double crossing. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. I wonder if you can hide messages from the stream. No, I don't want to hide messages from the stream. I wonder if you can automatically, like this, every time a new message comes in, can you automatically? No. This is pretty cool. So, wow. So these comments tells you where you're coming from. Not location, but just YouTube. I can block you. I can reply to you. I can put the user in a timeout. That's hilarious. Add to the block list in the Restream client. It's pretty cool. But this is pretty powerful stuff. Let me see if I can reply. Yeah. Will this show up? No, this won't show up. Oh, but I could show it. So I could show it. Yeah. All right. That's interesting. Cool. Pretty cool stuff. Anything you guys want to talk about? Everybody doing all right out there? I mean, surviving during this time of unprecedented GHAY, Gayatri, Red Notice, yeah. Interpol agent tracks the world's most wanted art thief. There you go. There you go. You own it. You own it. You're on it, man. Yeah, Red Notice. Yeah, it's produced, I guess, by Netflix. But again, I would just be searching the torrents for something that looks interesting, that looks viable, and recently grabbed it. So I'll probably do an update. It looks like it could be a white Christmas. We're starting to get some snow here in Krakow, in this area. Not a lot, but it's if it hovers around +1, -1, +2, -2, and there's moisture in the air, we'll get snow. So we've had a couple of snow incidents, right? And but it's not been not bad. Not yeah. I'm okay. Been good. I just focus on the work. Just focus on work. Just whatever. I mean, there was like probably a 6-month period where pretty much everything was shut down anyway. And one of my favorite places, yeah. In fact, Magda, the one that we met at, shut down. Luis, it's out of business. So that's kind of sad. But I mean, maybe kind of not unexpected, being that they were forced to be closed for how many months? So many months. I mean, like I don't know if they would have been able to. I mean, there was a quarantine, right, or the shutdown of these places, but whatever. And I guess you couldn't even, because I was thinking about contacting everybody that I knew and saying, like let's say you had a private party and you invited like 50 people during the lockdown, right? Could you have gotten away with it? And maybe you could have gotten away with it, but would the business owners allow you to do it? Like, that's the thing. So it never got to that point, because I think a lot of these business people probably would not have done it for fear that they would be penalized, right? Financially penalized for having an event, right? So anyway. All right, thank you. My app, you're talking about the calendar, Advent calendar? It's not really for this channel because it's under a different name, Viper. But yeah, I working with some really talented people. I produced. Well, I'm the executive producer on 4 apps in the App Store, but it's not something I want to talk about on this channel, because it's too close to home. That's what I want to say. But I do have another channel. If you happen to find that, it's a technical channel where I may actually promote it there. And actually, yeah, unfortunately, I can't here. So, but that's a good point. Yeah, but I would say, if you are into the season and you have definitely for iPhone, but also for Android, if you would like to check out, they call them Advent calendars. There's a number of really cool Advent calendars out there, and it's just kind of cool. Whatever. Some of them, every day you get a little mini game. Some of them, every day you open the window, you get some kind of surprise, whatever. So I did work on a calendar where every day a particular licensed character will appear. I'm working with that company that owns the licenses for like whatever 30 or 40 different characters. Every day you see a different character. It also has Christmas music in it. There's like dust floating around in here, man. You see that? It keeps popping up in the. I can see it in the camera. Little dust particle coming back and forth here, but I don't see it. I only see it on screen. This is like a UFO. But anyhow, how's the audio, by the way? Audio's good? I mean, it sounded good when it was coming back. So it sounds like it's good. I mean, it sounded good. And this is using the built-in microphone. I mean, this M1 is really cool, man. Guys, if you're into Apple products and you haven't upgraded in like 5-6 years because it's been expensive and kind of been shit, the M1 stuff it's worth getting, and it's okay. Maybe not in Poland because the Polish prices are insane, but if you can get one from, well, let's just say if you have a company, you can obviously write it off. So it may behoove you just to buy it in whatever country you're in, take the hit, have your accountant deduct it as a business expense. But certainly if you're in the U.S. and you haven't had a new Mac like the M1 Mac in a while, even the cheapest one, the Mac Mini, if you have your own monitors and your keyboard and mouse, or the iMac, the M1 iMac. Yeah, so the M1 Max, I mean, they just came out, right? They came out with some new improved M1 hardware. Yeah, M1. Did you get a M1 Max, or are you thinking about it? Just curious, because look, I prefer the iMac, these, because I got iMacs from 2007, 2008, 2009. That I bought used, probably they were already like 7 years old when I bought them, or 10 years old when I bought them, and they're so good. Hey, what's up? Got a new player. Where's it at? Where's he at? There we go. The French Käse, the French Sausage Käse, right? But that's actually German. The French Sausage Käse, the French cheese, but it's actually in German. Cool. That's cool name. Der die das. I got it. Oh, right. All right. Somebody just got theirs. Oh, really? You talking about a new iMac? Making noise while you're browsing the internet? Really? Maybe there's a power issue? I don't know. I haven't had any problems. Aha. Interesting. That's interesting. I've been very lucky. No noise, no nothing. In the iMac box that it came in, which was just like built like a tank. I mean, obviously, usually if you ever think you might ever sell your iMac, save the box, because when you resell it, it's always adds value if you can, you send it with the box, right? So in fact, I mean, I have some laptops which I save the boxes because, like I said, they can get you a better price when you show that on eBay that you have the box for it. Whatever, people just are into that, and also it helps gives you something that's purpose built for that device if you're going to mail it to somebody else. But the box for the new iMac is like, man, it was like at least 20 pounds of cardboard and reinforced stuff, and it's just really a lot of work went into building the box to protect the iMac, because all my iMacs I bought used, and none of them came with boxes. They were just wrapped up. Oh yeah, could be a fan blade if you're talking about. Assuming that you're talking about I'm assuming I should maybe not assume that. Kept getting noise while I was browsing the internet. So wondering if you're getting some questions here. So are you hearing the sound in the speakers? If you're hearing the sound in the speakers, that would indicate some kind of a noise issue, electronic noise that's bleeding into the speaker cables or speaker wires. I don't think it would affect the electronics per se, but just the wire. Maybe that's wire noise. But if you're hearing fan noise, meat beating session this afternoon. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Dude, do not waste your seed, man. Do not waste your seed. Get a woman. It sounds like you need a woman. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, the screen resolution is BA. Is totally badass. Oh yeah, it could be a grounding issue. That's a good point. If you're hearing noise, like a buzzy noise, could be a grounding issue on your power. I had an issue with like a 2011 MacBook Pro. It didn't make any noise, but I would get electrocuted. I would get electrocuted if I put my hand, rested my hand on the MacBook, and it was a grounding issue. Definitely was a grounding issue. So, but yeah, there's some good technical advice. Don't spray on your M1; that could immediately burn it out and void the warranty as well. So yeah, be careful with that. So, what time is it? 8:01. I'm like 50-50 thinking about hitting the club tonight. Just doing some songs, having a couple beers. Yeah, you definitely at least gum up the working parts. Be careful with that. Yeah, definitely. Get a woman, man. Though. Get a woman, start a family, and make some kids, man. Make some kids. Elon Musk said that there's a shortage of people. That the problem is not overpopulation. The problem is depopulation, right? And I mean, think about it. Look what happened to China with the one kid policy. I mean, it totally has kind of screwed up their society, where now there's an imbalance, too many men to women, and now there's just half the country is over 45, over 50, or something like that. It's weird. So, I mean, that's a whole other topic we can dive into. But if anybody thinks that China long term can sustain itself, I mean, even though they have a lot of people right now, a lot of the people are old, and look, at least 500 million of them are poor by any standard. I mean, they may be quote unquote outside of poverty, according to the Chinese government. Like they changed the definition from I don't know, $1 a day to $2 a day. So if you're making $2 a day, you're no longer considered poor. And yeah, in some areas, maybe $2 a day in China, you could conceivably live, right? Maybe not a great life, but you could live. But they're not. I mean, come on, they're super poor, man, and still China's stealing a lot of technology. I guess this. I don't know. A lot of people are leaving the workplace, but to do what? I mean, how long do you think? How long do you think they could last? Yeah, I mean, but look, think about this. I mean, the Great Replacement is. How do you want to say this? I think it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire in most countries because think about it. Like, let's say the libtards in the U.S. are bringing in all these brown and black people illegally into the United States, or allowing it to happen. At least up until recently, they were allowing it to happen. But I understand that they've re-implemented the stay in Mexico policy. So for these illegals that are trying to rush the border, claiming asylum, they're going to have to stay in Mexico. So I believe that has been reinstituted. Okay, yeah, over a million, let's say 1.5 million people snuck through in this not even first year of Brandon's illegal presidency. But I mean, it's backfiring because a lot of I mean, let's think about it. Think about what's happening. A lot of Hispanics who are Catholic, or they're Christian at least, or they're family oriented, they are not buying into this whole left wing, woke bullshit. Especially when they're talking about Spanish is a gender specific language, just like Polish is, right? With like Latina and Latino, right? Male and female, and they're trying to make it gender neutral, Latinx, that kind of shit. Yeah, I heard about 996. 9 days, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. So yeah, a lot of people, they're calling it laying down. A lot of Chinese people, younger people, are laying down, saying like, "What's the point? I'll bust my ass, work my ass off, make almost no money." And and the housing issue. Remember we talked about the ghost cities? We've talked about ghost cities in China for a long time, and it is coming. The chicken has come home to roost. The whitest state in the United States is probably Idaho. I'll say probably Idaho, maybe Seattle, Seattle, Washington, maybe Washington State. Although there are a lot of Asians in I guess there's a lot of Asians there. Vancouver, of course, is north of Washington State. There's a lot of Asians there. We've got Microsoft, of course. But come on, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, maybe even South Dakota. There's Vermont, possibly. Vermont, yeah. You know what? I think Vermont might actually be. I mean, it may actually be. It's definitely one of the whitest states. Vermont, small, beautiful. Look, almost any state you go, you can find beauty in it. But yeah, Vermont is very beautiful, very picturesque. But yeah, if you ever went, I mean, there's people everywhere. But yeah, this real estate, right? There's been these real estate companies that are going out of business. Yeah, that goes to I've seen. Have you seen those videos? They call it tofu construction, tofu buildings that are falling apart. Yeah, Maine is pretty white. Definitely, Maine is pretty white. If you got broad shoulders, you could always be a lobster man, right? Get out there on a boat, haul in the lobster, right? I'm sure there's always looking for. It's a tough job, but if you're strong, if you're younger, let's say on the younger side, and whatever. I don't know what your background is in terms of work, but Maine is definitely, I would say very white. Yeah, very white. Very rural. Maine. I can't even think. What's the capital of Maine? I can't even think of the capital of Maine. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But yeah, these Chinese buildings are falling apart, man. The ghost cities, obviously. Think about it. This is what led to the fake boom times, like the 12%, 10%, 12% growth of China. It's all based on building shit that all for speculation. Nobody's living in these places, right? And that's why, and again, on the China tip, when we had these millions of refugees from the Middle East, my recommendation was, hey, send them to China, send them to a ghost city, let them inhabit a ghost city. The UN, through the US or whatever, could pay these people $2 a day, and they could live in China on $2 a day, and they would have maybe not a great life, but they would be safe. They'd have a place to live, and they'd have enough food and enough money for food on $2 a day living in China. So, yeah, Maine is pretty white for sure. Portland, Oregon, or is Portland? Let me just hang on a second. Why am I doing this, man? We have the technology, people. We have the technology. What is the capital of Maine? Augustine. Augusta. Oh wow, Augusta is the state capital of Maine. I don't think I've ever been there. I don't think I've ever been to Maine. Maybe I was as a child. I don't remember being there as an adult. But I've seen pictures, and I know I know a doctor friend of mine. He did his residency up there and rented a house, and it was really nice. I saw show me the pictures. Very rural. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The up and coming superpower. It's not China. Referring to China, I guess it's multinational companies keeping China working. Absolutely. Look into buying items from the EU, Turkey, Romania, USA, and other non-Chinese companies. Yeah, exactly. I just recently bought some underwear and socks and T-shirts, and none of them were made in China. They were all made in they're Pakistan. I think one was in a Caribbean island. One was from a Caribbean island. Maybe Dominican Republic. One package of socks was made in Pakistan. Really good ones. I mean, I'm really happy with them. Pakistan, Dominican Republic, and I don't know the other ones. Maybe Vietnam. But I mean, the textile stuff was not made in at least the whatever, like socks, underwear, T-shirts. They were not made in China. Thank God, right? So that's cool. Yeah, it is possible. There are some apps like even if you're forced to buy from Amazon, um, they can tell you where the product is produced at, and then give you alternatives. I mean, look, Russia. It looks like Russia is just trying to keep the peace. I don't think Russia wants to have war with anybody. Um, I mean, this whole stuff that's happening in the Ukraine. I mean, look, at first, your first, let's say, based on the propaganda from the mainstream media, the J-controlled media, right? You might be against Russia, but for what? I mean, the borders for Ukraine were kind of set arbitrarily after the fall of the Soviet Union, and all those sort of counties, or what do you want to call them, in the eastern part of what's Ukraine now, are full of Russian people. Always has been, and Ukraine was part of Russia, was part of Mother Russia. There was no Ukraine for the 70 years of Soviet Union, right? So, whatever. In regards to that stuff, but Putin has been saying, look, we don't want them to be part of Russia. We want them to have autonomy, and that's kind of because, look, I mean, obviously, there's millions of people there that Russia doesn't want to be responsible for, and that's smart. That's smart on Putin's part. But on the other hand, it does provide him with a buffer from the West, because this whole thing started when there was talks of Ukraine joining NATO and then possibly joining the EU. Um, I mean, it's messed up. I mean, I've been to Ukraine many times. It's a beautiful country in terms of potential, but it's totally full of corruption. A lot of poor people there, a lot of rich people too. But I don't know where they're making their money. I think they're making their money elsewhere. Um, who knows? But I don't think there's going to be any problems. Yeah, Putin needs access to the Black Sea. He's got access, though, doesn't he? He's got access from Crimea. Not Crimea. Yeah, Crimea, right? Yeah, Crimea. He had his. That's why they took Crimea, because that naval base um, was the Russian naval base on the Black Sea, and look, it only makes sense. I mean, I wish he would have done it. I mean, he did it the way he did it with the little green men, and but I wish, whatever. I guess he did what he had to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what we can try to do. Try to purchase stuff locally. I mean, when I go shopping here, especially like, let's say, Biedronka, where they're really promoting Polish products. I mean, almost all the food is produced in Poland, believe it or not, except for lettuce. Lettuce comes from Spain, but all the meat products, all the cheese products, all the milk products, um, most of the frozen stuff, so frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, all in Poland, all Polish. I mean, some of the trinkets, if you want to buy some trinkets, maybe made in China, whatever. So yeah, Black Sea though, see, the Black Sea is blocked by Turkey, and there's the Straits of Malacca, whatever it's called. There's some straits there that Turkey actually controls, and there was a treaty signed between Russia, the United States, and Turkey regarding traffic through that. It's a choke point, saying that only countries that actually are in the Black Sea can send military ships through that thing. Otherwise, commercial ships can go through. So there is some kind of limitation on there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, Russia needs more ports. They need to compete with China's expansion. Yeah, I mean, look, with the warming of the waters, they may have more ports available longer in the northern areas where they can do trade. But I mean, they're already doing a lot of trade with China. I think there's a Russian pipeline. There's a Russian pipeline either being built or has been built that provides China with natural gas from Russia. I know there's one from Iran as well. They buy stuff from Iran. Um, so, look, I mean, I think Russia. I've been to Russia. I've been to Moscow, and honestly, it just reminded me of a Slavic Los Angeles. It was disgusting, and Red Square was a total disappointment. It's all theatrics, man. They make the Red Square look so massive, so huge, but it's really like I want to say like a 3 or 4 lane highway, uh, wide width, the width of Red Square. Where they had all those parades there with the rockets and the tanks and all that, the troops marching. And the secret to it is that there's a camera that's way up in the sky, on a wire. So when you pull back that far, it just makes that look so massive. But when you're standing there, I mean, you can see, on one side is the gum department store, or what was the gum department store, which was only allowed for like high communist officials and foreigners, because they only accepted U.S. dollars or hard currency during communist times. And then on the other side is the red walls of the Kremlin, and that's where the generals would be standing up there reviewing the marching stuff. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, Russia has made massive improvements in their economy, and by being under sanction, they were forced to innovate. Because now, they, believe it or not, Google this, they are the number one. I want to say we're number one, either producer or the number one exporter of wheat now in the world. And during communist times, they were starving, right? They couldn't get their act together. So they're a huge producer of wheat now. So that they really have been forced to be more self-reliant. So that's a good thing for any country, especially the Russians. They've got huge territory where, most of it, okay, Siberia, maybe it's full of trees and it may not be warm enough most of the time, but Western Russia has got plenty of warm areas, for growing stuff and all that kind of good stuff. So it's a massive improvement in terms of sustainability on their own part, being able to grow their own food. Yeah. But China's in a weak spot. Think about it. China is totally dependent on imports for food, for energy. It's not like they have their own domestic production that they can come up with. They don't. And ghost cities, corruption, people, Uyghurs in concentration camps, Hong Kong issues, thinking about they're going to take over Taiwan. Listen, Taiwan used to be known as the island of Formosa. There were peoples living there, native peoples or Aboriginal people, whatever you want to call them. They were not Chinese. They may have been Asian, of the Asian persuasion, but they were not Chinese people living on Taiwan. So I don't know when Taiwan ever was part of China. Maybe, theoretically, I don't even think theoretically. I'm thinking about my, I think I was in junior high school or high school, ninth grade, maybe it was ninth grade, when I took a course on Chinese history, and we studied Chinese history, going back to the different little fiefdoms of China and how they evolved. And Taiwan was never mentioned as being part of China, historically. So anyway, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, look, China is talking a big game. They're playing like wolf diplomacy and what's it called? Like an unauthorized not unauthorized, but a irregular, basically like irregular warfare, right? Irregular warfare where they're trying to corrupt politicians with money and taking over different organizations that way, like Hollywood, basically controlling Hollywood because they're financing these movies, and they don't want any movies that are negative towards China. So like if you want to sell your movie, or if you want to have any chance that your movie is sold in or distributed in China, it has to have a pro-Chinese message, right? So we got a new question here. Where do you think the future of white man's will be secured? America, Russia, Europe? I'm sitting on the fence. I'm a European, but currently living in the Ukraine. I could also move to the U.S. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I think if you are, if you can make yourself independent of the system, you're not going to give a rat's ass who's doing shit. I mean, you're going to have your own land, your own property. Um, you're going to obviously trade with your neighbors, right? And I don't see Ukraine as being okay. Maybe I don't know. As a tourist visiting Ukraine, it was great, right? If you got dollars, this is before they devalue the currency. So look, if you can make money like remote, because I know people that are in the Ukraine that were working for German companies, making really good money for Ukraine. That is, living in Ukraine. So if you could do that, if you could pull that off, and you feel secure there, I think that's a great possibility. I mean, there's a lot of Ukrainians here in Poland. Poland is still pretty safe. I mean, obviously these countries, the Visegrad Four, right, that refuse to take Middle Eastern migrants that are predominantly Muslim and predominantly military age men. And that was a smart move. I was just, just looking out for your best interests. Most of those people should be sent back. I mean, I don't know, whatever. If they're not productive members of society, it's been 6, 7 years now since 2015. If they're not working, they should probably be deported. So anyway, that's my opinion. Um, so if you're living in Ukraine right now and I mean, look, I don't know what your situation is. If you're safe, I'm sure you're safe. I mean, whatever. Are you safe? You're probably not dealing with Russians invading your country, because I don't think that's going to even be an issue. If you're not near the yeah, I mean, if you're not near the conflict, then you're pretty safe. And Ukraine's got good food there. I know there's issues. We used to be the breadbasket of Europe, right? Ukraine used to be the breadbasket of Europe. So you got fertile soil. Um, there's a lot of positives there. You got beautiful girls. So I mean, that's why not start a family there? I mean, I am I am at the moment. I've been here for a long time, man. I've been here for a long time. But um, if you can go to the U.S., look, you have think about the long term plan. Short term plan is to be safe, right? Medium plan is to make some money, and long term plan is to build a family and an inheritance for your kids, right? Whether that be land, whether that be real estate, whether that Ukrainian food is radiated. Really, I had some good food there. I'm just saying, maybe I don't know. From Chernobyl, talking about from Chernobyl, maybe Chernobyl. But look, if you can go to the U.S. And get situated there for a few years, with the plan. Look, hey, you're gonna obviously. I'm assuming if you're Ukrainian, I'm assuming you're white, so you could blend into any whatever. You're going to be considered white, all right? Okay, whatever. But obviously, being Ukrainian, you know that you're Ukrainian and you're not white, because white is just a state of mind. Uh, you can say, hey, I'm Ukrainian. You're probably Orthodox, or maybe you're Catholic, whatever. That's your identity. Um, so anyway, what I'm trying to say, look, you come to the U.S., you're working with the goal of trying to save up some money as much as possible. If that's your plan, I would say do that. Um, the French cheese, I would say do that. I would say do that. Come to if you can, if that's what you want to do. But look, I mean, if you have family in Ukraine, you're going to be missing your family. You may be better off. I mean, look, I don't know. You may be better off moving to Germany. Um, you would probably make similar kind of money as you would in the U.S., but you're a lot closer to home, right? Then you could fly back, whatever. You could fly back and forth on a more regular basis. Um, what people are needed in the U.S. now? What jobs? Listen, you got to just Google that stuff. There's tons of IT jobs opening that are open. I mean, a lot of them are very specialized. So, like, I'm seeing like, particular type of network engineer, or a particular type of application guy, or a particular type of server dude, whatever. But if you can just crack in maybe you don't have the skills for that particular skill set right now, or maybe you could fake it. You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it. But I know a lot of these companies are really desperate. And I had one friend of mine said that their company was looking for to fill a couple of roles within their organization. They couldn't find anybody within the organization to promote. So then they asked everybody, "Hey, do you know anybody technical who we could put in this role?" And so the call came out like basically they would take anybody that was technical, and with the thought process that they would give them about 3 months to really get up to speed. So if you could find a situation like that, I mean, that would be golden. So it almost doesn't matter as long as look, if let's say you're wanting to go into IT, you have IT skills. Obviously there's a huge difference between a software developer and a networking people, or even application people. If you're an application support specialist versus a network engineer versus actual coder, you're not going to be able to switch between those very easily. But if you're in one of those sort of buckets, from a technical perspective, you should be able to find something in that bucket, right? Of course, above that would be like a team leader or like a TPM, technical project manager, where those people are usually not very technical. They're just sort of manager people. They understand the process, and they're there to help communicate with like the people above, and maybe the customer, and maybe the technical team. That may be something you could do if you have that experience. But there's even people, like fast food places, restaurants, desperate for people because people aren't working in the U.S. A lot of people have quit that were making $10 an hour. Now, like McDonald's, I'm being told, like even places like McDonald's are starting people out at $15 an hour. I know here in Krakow, there was an ad on the Burger King for 18 Polish zlotys per hour. Which, look, I mean, in Poland, for unskilled labor, 18 an hour, I mean, that sounds pretty good. I mean, let me just do a quick calculation. What's that? 18 times 40 hours a week, assuming you got 40 hours a week. 720 a week times 4. Okay, 2,880 zlotys a month. I mean, look, if you're living at home, I mean, if you're like in college or living at home or completely unskilled, it's you're probably in your pocket. Let's do a quick. Probably take home about 2,300 a month. So, I mean, a single person could live off of that, depending upon where you lived, how you live. Like if you had maybe your rent 600 zlotys a month, and you're sharing an apartment with somebody, another 200, 300 for utilities. Now you're up to 900. So I mean, yeah, like half your income would be going. It'd be half your income would be going to just survive. Another 100 for the bus ticket, assuming you don't have a car. Like, why would you have a car? You're not making enough money to own a car. But that's not bad for somebody with look, say it's a not bad starting salary for somebody with no skills, or someone who's in school just looking for part-time work, or looking for 40 hours a week, kind of brainless, whatever. So yeah, those are my would be my advice. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn, the French Keza, get on LinkedIn and try to network there. Like whatever your specialization is, try to find people who are involved in those industries. Like whatever. Like if you're into virtualization, look at VMware, right? If you're into networking, look at Cisco or Juniper or one of those. You know what I mean? Or if you're into coding, and then look at whatever people that are in iOS or whatever you're coding in Java. Look for different groups, and then within those groups, start trying to meet people and network. It's all about networking on LinkedIn. Yeah. So, yeah. Krakow was nice, man. It's a good place, man. It's so far. I mean, knock on wood. So far, it's been staying good. Brainless jobs, I guess. Brainless jobs. Yeah, they are brainless jobs. If that's what you're referring to. A lot of brainless jobs. But, if you need something, and you just trying to get back on your feet, or if you're trying to just establish yourself, I mean, 18 an hour plus free food, right? I guess you can get free food. I'm sure you get a free lunch at least. And I don't know. I mean, look, are they really watching you? If somebody doesn't like their food and they give it back and you throw it away, could you still eat it? So that's hilarious, man. You get some free food from that probably. Texas is a good state. I mean, it depends on where you are in Texas. I mean, Austin is the capital of Texas, and it's become very liberal. Google's headquarters are there in Texas. Um, at least they have a presence in Texas. And there's a lot of whatever there's a slogan like "Keep Austin Weird," I think, or is that Portland? I don't know. Is it Portland? Keep Portland weird. I don't know. Austin has something similar. Keep Austin queer, something like that. It's anyway. But aside from that, there is a lot of business opportunities. I know a guy who's a coder. He's in Austin, but I mean he's a miserable sob, but he always was. I met him once in Lublin. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. But Texas is good. It's pretty based. It's Florida also. Texas and Florida. I mean, there's all kinds of different kinds of people there. Texas is still pretty white, but there's a lot of Hispanic there also. But there's a lot of old school Hispanics too. I mean, they've been talking about trying to flip Texas blue. It's not going to happen. I don't see it happening. They're trying to, but as it turns out, can you sing? Can the French guy sing? Oh shit! You found out about that Spome Deluxe competition, right? But yeah, they've been trying to flip Texas blue. I don't think it's happening. A lot of Hispanics. Oh, there was recent elections in counties bordering Mexico that are dealing with this immigrant crisis, and they voted for Hillary in 2016. I don't know, whatever, like by 60% voted for Hillary, but in the most recent election, they voted Republican for their whatever the local representative. And so what I'm saying is like, look, the more these people go woke, the more they go broke, and they turn a lot of people off, especially normal, reasonable Hispanic people who just happen to be from Latin America or from Central America or from Mexico. These are traditional people. Look, I mean, when did Italians become white? When did the Irish become white? I mean, come on, Italians were never considered white people, right? I mean, even the Irish were not considered white. I mean, think about it, right? It's just bullshit. I mean, so now, I mean, we're probably, I'll bet you in 20 years we're going to start saying Mexicans are white, right? Because they're not going to fall for this bullshit. Most of them. I mean, maybe some poor ass, libtard people will, but I think the majority of like say Mexican Americans that I know were like very American, very pro-American, wanted to fit in, wanted to speak the language. They were here legally. They were here they were in the United States legally, and that's what I think is the future. It just takes time. In the past, these migration waves were a lot shorter, and the number of people that came in were less, not all at once, so they could be more easily assimilated. But I foresee, and look, COVID is a good like black swan event where like look, Biden just closed off immigration or even travel from Africa, like for the whole continent, because of this Abercrombie and Finch variant, right? So there's that kind of like black swan event that could happen where um you know if immigration is reduced for a certain period of time, it gives us time to digest or assimilate the people that are in the country, and then this whole dystopian future about demographics or destiny is bullshit, right? Yeah, but the point is of course we're going to survive. Just come on, think about it. Think it through. Think it through. I'm thinking through some of these. I mean, like, there's been recent exposure of some kind of, I think it was a Facebook Live, where some black people were talking about how or one particular guy from what I saw was talking about how he wanted to kill all white people, all white people should die, something like that. Somebody recorded the call, and I don't, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, look, first of all, like, the black people that I've met, that I've known, that I've worked with, none of them are like that, right? I mean, they may still vote Democrat, they may still be a little bit libtard, but none of them that I could tell had that ignorance, that retarded ignorance, right? But the main thing is just, look, have a big family, get married, find a woman that's into the same ideals as you, and family is wealth. I mean, think about it. When you need somebody to do something, and if you have kids that can do it, or if you have family around you, or you're close with, your neighbors, and you have a community. I mean, the community is wealth, right? Community is wealth. I really don't have any opinion on any of these cryptocurrencies. I mean, I got a guy from India who's been telling me to start buying certain coins, but I've not started. I was mining Bitcoin years ago, so I have some Bitcoin, a very small amount that I mined, and I should have taken my own advice, because back then Bitcoin was less than $1,000 a coin, and but they kept, which real quick story. Yeah, it was under $1,000 a coin. It was like around 600, and then it got to 1,000, and then they reduced the reward for mining in half, right? So it went from saying that I would earn a Bitcoin in 3 years to I would earn a Bitcoin in 6 years, and at that point I said, forget it, man. Well, here's not that we're promoting financial advice, but by BAT, are you talking about British American Tobacco? Hell yeah, hell to the yeah. Any of these tobacco companies, the big ones, Philip Morris, Altria, British American Tobacco, they pay good dividends. They're constantly growing. They're diversifying they're still selling tobacco, okay? Maybe not as much, but they're diversifying into other things like wine and liquor and beach resorts and stuff like that. And they're paying. You're getting paid to wait. So, yeah, I would say, look, if you got money to that you don't care, that you don't care about losing it, then the crypto stuff is good. But to finish my story, look, I my advice back then was just to buy one Bitcoin for $1,000 when it was $1,000, right? Because if you wanted to mine it, at the time it was like $2,300 just to buy. I think it was the R9 Ant miner, which was the fastest miner at the time, and it used like 800 or 1,000 watts of power, and it would take you a year to break even, right? It would take you a year to break even, because maybe you would get 2 Bitcoins in a year, but like I said, at that time, it was $1,000 a Bitcoin. So I took my own advice. I tried to buy 1 Bitcoin at $1,000, but I was under the delusion, and don't be under the delusion that Bitcoin is anonymous, because when I tried to buy a Bitcoin for $1,000, they want to know everything about you, your name, your address, obviously your credit card number. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm not giving you this information. I wanted to be anonymous, right? So because of that, I did not buy the Bitcoin for $1,000. I mean, do I regret it? I mean, kind of, not really. I don't really care. But it would have been cool if I would have just said, okay, bite the bullet, give them my information, buy 1 Bitcoin, spend $1,000, because now it's worth $50,000, right? What is it? It's like 6 years later, 7 years later. So that would have been a nice business investment, shall we say. So look, if any of these cryptocurrencies, look, if you got a few $100s or whatever, some of these coins are like sub pennies, right? So you could buy 10,000 of them for $20, right? So I mean, it's $20. Can you afford to lose $20? Because the upside could be huge if it goes to the moon, right? But I wouldn't count on it, right? To me, it's all a fucking scam. It's all a Ponzi scheme. It's all a Ponzi scheme because it's based on nothing. It's just based on nothing, right? I should have a Holy Joe Rock and Roll coin, right? Let's do a Holy Joe Rock and Roll coin, and you could buy my music, right, for the coins, right, with my currency, right? So it'd be worth something. It would be worth something. Or if you had I don't know, 50,000 Holy Joe Rock and Roll coins, I could do a live show for you or something, right? So that would actually be backed by Holy Joe. But if I died, then I guess the coin would be worthless, right? Or would my catalog be? My catalog would be the catalog. My catalog of 6 CDs would be backing up. Instead of being backed by gold, it'd be backed by my albums, right? So that's a possibility. But what I'm saying is, look, right now it is kind of like a Ponzi scheme in terms of like you got to get a bigger, dumber idiot behind you to buy the coin to drive up the price so that you can get out, right? Look, but if you're using, so that's if you're trying to use it as an investment vehicle, right? But if you're actually using Bitcoin or some other coins, but if you're actually using the coins for transactions, right? Because that's what the dream of Bitcoin was, not so much that it would be a store place of value, but that it was a way to transact, right? Instead of using MasterCard and Visa and Western Union and getting ripped off with the fees. I mean, that was my understanding. The original idea was that it was meant to help you transact, bypassing the banks, right? As a transactional vehicle, right? So yeah, I got it. I get it. Holy Joe Rock and Roll, exactly. Thank you. Appreciate that. You'd back up the truck for Holy Joe Rock and Roll. I appreciate that, man. Yeah. So that's something to think about. I mean, I may have to dig into that, see what we can come up with. Talk to my peoples, talk to my tech team. You Google it, whatever. But yeah. So look, it's like any other investment. If you have money that you can risk capital, whether it's 5%, 10% of what you make, or what you take home, that you can invest in. Why not? I mean, especially if you're young, and by young I mean like you're not retired, right? You're still working, so you can still make that money back. And if it's a small part of your income, like we're talking a couple $100, maybe $1,000 total that you invest into crypto, different kinds of crypto. I mean, okay, again, is this money that you can afford to lose? If you say yes, I can, hey, I'm working from home, I'm not driving to work, I'm saving money. So that money that I'm saving that I would have paid on gas or for parking, parking lots, paying for parking, that kind of stuff. Hey, let me reinvest this in crypto. I think that's a great idea, for someone who's of working age, right? Still working or has that money that they can risk. Because who knows, right? Let's say it does go crazy. Up. You're young, you're strong, boom, cash that stuff out. Then you can maybe diversify into some other investments. Buy a home, right? Get a home if you could. If you get that lucky, right? If I would have had that, $50,000 is not enough. What 55 times 4, 200,000 Polish zlotys. You could probably get a small ass apartment, 1 bedroom, in some shitty part of town, or some on a busy like street. I think I've seen some for like around 150. They're like 1 room, a kitchen and a bathroom. But you look out your window and it's a freaking major thoroughfare, two lanes in each direction, right? So my opinion on what's my opinion on gold and silver? PM? You talking about Philip Morris? I don't know PM if you mean by PM. Philip Morris, yeah, I'd say get some Philip Morris. Buy and hold it for the dividend. Gold and silver, look, again, it's the same thing. I've seen gold prices go up recently, where like I'm being paid in Polish zlotys, so I'm having to buy gold. I would buy gold in Polish zlotys, right? But the dollar has gotten super strong, like out of nowhere, right? So even though the price of gold has gone up a little bit, what is it, around $1,800 now for an ounce of gold, because the dollar got stronger, the price in Polish zlotys has gone up, and it's kind of a weird scenario. Let me see if I have that here. Do I have my stocks? Is there a stock thing here? Oh yeah, there it is. Stocks. Let me just see. What do we got here? Oh yeah, this zloty is. Where is it at? 407. It's 407 now. It was 416. 4 zloty 16 grosz to $1. Not too long ago. And if I check the, do I have it here? Hold on. Yeah, but again, the same thing with precious metals. Can you afford to lose? You're not going to lose money. I mean, you may lose money in gold. Yeah, you may lose money in gold, but is it something you can afford to purchase and not starve, right? Because you can't eat gold. Gold doesn't pay a dividend. I'm seeing that the actual what the hell? The actual value of an ounce of gold is 7,275 zlotys. 7,275 zlotys, okay? But the cheapest place where you could buy an ounce of gold is 7,600. Oh, hey, I can share my screen. Hang on a second. Let me do that. Again, let me do this. I can do this. I got to turn. Hang on. Let me do, yeah, this. Oh, let me, precious metals. Oh, precious metals. Okay, I got you. So how do you switch this? Oh, hang on. This is in the wrong spot. Okay, let me move this that way. Move this over here. Okay, here we go. This is weird. This is totally weird because this screen is in the way. I need to plug in another monitor. I don't know if it's going to work. Hang on a second. Just give me a second. I see what's happening here. Yeah, just give me one moment. Just trying to connect up this other monitor. There we go. Oh, there we go. Cool in the gang. So yeah, so now, oh, this is super cool. So yeah, so for instance, not endorsing this company, but this is at least one in Poland. Look, I'm dealing in Polish zlotys only because that's what I'm dealing in. You can see here, so the Australian kangaroo, usually pretty cheap, on the lower side, 7,602 versus 7,275. So that's a premium of what, 450. So a premium of about a little over $100. Whereas the premium in the past used to only be about I don't know, it was like 75 bucks. All right, Magda, good seeing you, man. Take care. Magda says she's gonna bounce. AT&T AT&T is paying good dividends, but the price is going down. They got a lot of debt, and they own CNN. I don't know what they're going to do with CNN, but yeah, I've been in AT&T for a while, but I'm actually contemplating liquidating my AT&T. And what was I thinking about buying? I actually was thinking about buying some more Apple, but then Apple just shot up. Oh, hang on, let me see. I got some Apple. Hang on, my stock program just has a bunch of different quotes on it. Apple, where's Apple at? 179. Look at that, 179. Oh my God, 179. Insane. Yeah, and where's AT&T is down? Look, it's 22. Where did it go from? Yeah, man, it's AT&T is getting punished. Look at that, it's just getting punished. But the yield is 9%, 9.11% right now. But look, don't let that fool you, because look, it's been down before. Here it was 29 back in 2011. They got up to as high as like in the 42, 43 in 2016. It's I don't know why it's suffering so bad. I think they're dealing with a lot of heavy debt load, and yeah. I mean, if you, again, it's all about risk capital. If you don't own any AT&T and you want to spend, maybe $1,000 to buy, what would you buy? You get like almost 500 shares, over 400 shares. 400 shares would be $880. It's something to think about. Yeah, there's no VAT in Poland also. When you buy silver, do it in Estonia. No VAT on silver there. Yeah, I heard about that. I've looked into it. I mean, not a lot, but that's pretty cool how they can do that. Stand it off. Boom, boom. Oh wow, look at that. Drag to move. Okay, can I switch? How do I switch? Oh, hang on. Oh, that's good. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's some really cool features in this thing, man. I'm trying to still figure it out. So now this camera is here, but my screen is over there because I moved it. See if I can move it back. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Estonia has no VAT, but then you got to get it. You got to get it to, if you're in Poland, you got to get it to Poland. Then you got to pay for that. So I remember my music teacher in high school, junior high school. I just found out that he passed away a few years ago, and a mutual friend was trying to find his daughter, the music teacher's daughter. Anyways, the thing is this: I remember him saying he's going to start buying gold. This is like, okay, I'm not going to say the year, but it was a long time ago, more than 20 years ago. And he said he was going to start buying gold coins. And I remember saying silver's cheaper, and he said, yeah, but when I get old, would you rather have a sack of gold coins or a sack of silver coins, right? So yeah. So if you can buy some gold, buy some gold. If you can only afford silver, buy some silver, or have a little bit of both. I don't see any problem with that. Did this thing? Let me see if I can. What is actually being displayed? Oh, I guess this is all that's being displayed. This being displayed? Oh, I guess I don't know if it is or not. Anyways, it's on. Yeah, it is being displayed. Let me turn that off. Boom. Okay, now it's not. So yeah, it's a when you're investing, you have to think about what are your goals. Are you trying to invest to hedge against inflation? In which case, maybe you don't really care if the price goes up and down because you just want to have it for the long term. Because look, remember when the dot-com bubble was in the 2000s or late 80s? I mean, gold was like $250 an ounce, right? $250 an ounce. Nobody was buying gold because everybody was buying dot-com stocks. And then look what happened. I mean, these dot-coms blew up. I mean, literally, and then dot-com bubble burst. And if I was, again, I never bought gold back then, but if I was smarter back then and taken my own advice, I would have bought some gold. But again, all the freaking pundits out there were saying there's no point in buying gold. There's no inflation, and you need to get in these dot coms. And while I did make money on the dot coms initially, I didn't sell when I should have sold. When my instinct told me to sell, I was in Thailand when my HHH, which was a basket of 20 internet stocks, had doubled in price. And I wanted to sell it, but I was in Thailand and there was no way I could sell it. Right. And by the time I got back, the price started going down, and then it went up. So I said, "Oh, okay, it's gonna get, And eventually, I did sell it, and I pretty much lost more than half the value. But having said that, should I have? If I would have kept, because what happened was some of those companies actually went bankrupt, and then so the basket of 20 wasn't true anymore, so they broke it up. So then I had like 19 individual companies, little pieces, like whatever. Let's say if you bought 100 shares of HHH, you would get like 2 shares of eBay, 1 share of Google, et cetera, right? So some of those companies went bust, so they broke it up. Now, if I would have held on to that, because there was some Google there was some eBay, there was some Expedia, or was it Expedia, or was it where you can name your own price? Anyways, whatever. If I would have if I would have not sold it, then maybe I would have, let's say, broken even like 20 years later, right? Because there's 3 or 4 stocks that maybe, and I think there was some Amazon in there, right? A few, like 2 or 3 shares of Amazon. So it might have been, whatever. Like if I would have held on to it, whatever. But because the bubble went up, then it collapsed, and I just sold it. I think I want to say between 50 and 70% of my initial investment was lost. So, but whatever, you learn. And I was a young guy, so it didn't matter. It was risk capital. It was money that I could afford to lose, and it's an expensive lesson. You can always flip silver to gold and vice versa when the ratio changes. Thus, play in the market and get ounces for free. I guess that's true. But the thing is, anytime you try to do that, you're going to lose 5%, right? I mean, look, you can see that the spot price for gold is 7,200, but to actually buy it, it's 7,600. So if you were to try to sell that gold coin right now, you say, hey, it's worth 7,600. They would say, no, the spot price is 7,200. We'll give you 7,000 for it, right? So depends upon where you bought the gold at. You may or may not have made money on it, right? But I hear what you're saying. If you know what you're doing, Bartosz, if you know what you're doing, I'm not saying don't do that. If you know, for people that know what they're doing in this, in this scenario, perfectly fine. But if you're new to it and don't really know what to do, like playing the ratio, I mean, it's difficult, right? Honestly, I don't think there's any shortage of gold or silver. They keep finding more and more. And there was just a report on Caspian, what's it called? The Caspian report of the, what do they call it? The Sahara Trench, or whatever they call it. Basically, Western Saudi Arabia and Eastern Africa. There's this whole trench geological issue where they're finding tons of all kinds of rare minerals, and including gold. Okay, and what is it? Eritrea and Ethiopia or Sudan. Um, I don't think there's any shortage of gold. It's just that it does retain some kind of value, right? But remember, prior to the dot-com bubbles in the late 1990s, gold had gone to $800. That was the peak in the 80s. I think it was in the late 80s, early 80s, right? That was the peak. It went to $800, then it dropped, and it was around 250 years later. So if you bought it at 800 and you had to sell it, you would have lost money, right? But obviously, if you would have bought it even at 800, now it's worth 1,800. Okay, you could say technically on paper you made $1,000, but that's 40 years later. 40 years took 40 years to double your money. I mean, that's it's not good. That's not good. I mean, you know what I mean? So, but as a hedge, again, you got to be diversified. I mean, I think the most important thing for somebody is if they want to have a family is to have a place to live. And in my opinion, houses are cheaper than apartments. I mean, maybe they cost a little bit more to heat, and maybe they cost a little bit more to finish. But long term, like for square footage, it's still cheaper to buy a house in most places because the houses are going to be on land that's cheaper, and you control all that stuff. And hopefully, you have some land where you can have a garden or a greenhouse. You can grow your own food. You can be a little bit independent from the system. You don't really care what's happening in the big, like whatever the oligarchs are fighting each other. You kind of don't even care. You just want to have your shit. And maybe you can build a double boiler so you can convert plastic into oil, so you can even be independent with that. You can create natural gas and diesel fuel from heating up plastic within an environment where there's no oxygen, so that it supplements. It's called pyrolysis, whatever the hell it's called. Google converting plastic into fuel, and you'll see all kinds of videos where people are doing it. It's pretty simple. If you got some simple skills, you can do that. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been going on for about what, hour 44? Yeah, man. Still got the chops. Took a little while to get through that dry spell, but hey, but yeah. So you could be not necessarily living off the grid, but being more independent and more self-sufficient than your neighbors, right? But if you also have a good community of neighbors where you can, you're friendly with your neighbors. You know who your neighbors are, right? I mean, there was a thing that said, like, you should know 10 people within 10 miles of your house, right? And those, they don't have to be like your next door neighbor, your exact next door neighbor. It would be very convenient if they are, but if you know 10 people within 10 miles that you're really good friends with, that you can help each other out, that you're on the same wavelength with, that's your community. That could be your community, right? But obviously it's important if you're direct, your actual neighbors. Yeah, I'm still in Poland. Where are you at? Ad Street. But if if your actual neighbors you're good with your actual neighbors, I mean that's like that's the gold standard, right? Where I live, the people here are very cool, and I can see that they get along with each other. Unfortunately, I mean I'm very hello and goodbye and friendly with them, but for whatever reason we haven't really engaged with them too much on a regular basis, except for pleasantries. I blame that on my significant other, who for whatever reason didn't want to really. I know what happened. Some of the neighborhood women, they don't work. They have nannies. They're spoiled bitches, and they were wanting to hang out with my wife and drink coffee. And she's like, "I got shit to do. I don't want to hang out with these women. They're boring." You know what I mean? So, oh, Sahap. Okay. Hey, did we meet? Are you using a different name? Did you come to Krakow? We met up. There was a guy from, I want to say, in that area of the UK who actually met. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Cool dude, pretty cool dude. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you can be friendly with your people. So yeah, so she didn't want to engage with that kind of, because she thought it was it's boring, like all these women just hanging around drinking coffee, um, like gossiping, right? And that's not her thing. So I totally understand where that's at, but not to say that there's any bad blood between our neighbors. Just wasn't you? All right, cool, got it. Um, so anyway, that's where your wealth is going to come from. I'm trying to right now. I haven't really exposed too much of it, except if you go on Telegram. Let me put it in the chat here. I'm on Telegram. If you guys want to subscribe to Telegram, because that's when I'll have some more pertinent, specific information. If you go to Telegram and look for Joe Bonsai, I believe it's Joe Bonsai. I have a channel there, and I've got some video on the greenhouse that I built, and some of the things that we produce in the greenhouse for local consumption, for our own consumption. And it's been a great experience. I mean, even right now we've got negative temperatures, and it's positive in the greenhouse. Now it's still, I mean, I can't really grow anything right now, but there's still stuff that's still alive. Technically, I would say technically still alive, but it's on its last leg. Just being realistic, because I'm not heating it. It's just solar. It's just only heated by solar. This is the sun, right? And it traps the heat in there. But that greenhouse is built to last. I built it based on a garage, a car garage kit. So it had plastic. It basically was a frame, had plastic for the roof. So I basically took that plastic and didn't use it for the roof. I used a different kind of plastic, a double ply, 10 millimeter thick, heavy duty plastic for all the sides, and used what was on the roof for the back and the west side. Anyway, what I'm saying is that whole project cost me maybe, let's say, under 5,000 Polish zlotys. So you may say that's kind of a lot of money. It is kind of a lot of money. So that's roughly $1,200, and it's the size of one car garage. So it's basically 5 meters long by not quite 3 meters wide as you stand in there. So if you go to Telegram, and you check out my channel. Feel free to subscribe there. If I start getting more subscribers there, then I'll update you guys more often. But right now, it's just been a few really close friends that have been on there. Yeah, it's Joe Bonsai. Got a few subscribers, but also talking about brewing alcohol. I've been brewing some. So I got apple trees that I planted, and those apples have produced fruit. And making apple wine is super easy. I mean, it's super easy, and we could talk about that on the Telegram. But once you have some of these natural resources that you control, that you own, You can do almost anything, and then now that becomes the value. Labor is the source of all wealth. Also, labor, right? Think about it. If you got some apples, okay, maybe a pound of apples is worth whatever, $5. But if you turn that into apple wine, now it's worth $20, right? $20 a bottle, let's say. So, all right, man. Ass nuts, D's nuts, baby. All right, all good, man. Just have to look at the phone for a minute, but got to go. Already late. Good luck. All right, thank you. Ass nuts. Yeah, you got some cool names coming up today. Coming up today on the chat. But look, all right, guys. So let me wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for joining me, testing out this technology. It's working pretty good. I got to get the hang of it. I think I maybe will start out with the, whatever, with this screen on the different monitor, or I could flip it. If I flipped it, I got to figure out a way to share that screen. So I guess whatever. Some technical difficulties. All right, ass nuts. Thanks a lot, man. Take care. All the best, buddy. All the best. A few technical hurdles to deal with, and maybe run it from Safari. Possibly from Firefox, not Safari, because then maybe I can get the green screen to work. If I get the green screen to work, then this is golden, and it don't even have to mess with the other program, which I did not install on this new Mac, but I certainly could. But this seems to be a lot lightweight, a lot more lightweight. And if anybody is into wanting to stream, this is a very powerful and legit technology. Not to say that it wasn't before. Before it was maybe a little bit less legit, but this is really cool. It's really cool. All right, everybody. Listen, have a great week coming up. This is Sunday night, so have a great the rest of your weekend, and have a great week coming up. And if I come up with something to talk about, I'll be back live soon. But I got a lot of shit to do. I got a lot of work to do, so that's why I haven't been doing this stuff. But all the best, everybody. Stay safe out there. Don't fear any of this crap. Just live your lives and just push on. All right, everybody. Take care. Don't forget, check me out on Telegram, Joe Bonsai on Telegram. All right. Till next time. You know the drill. Let's make it happen for the captain, because you're the captain. Oh, yeah. Okay.